there's some exciting news this week, Kenny. We've been talking about NBA Playgrounds. We've both been really excited, have we not, about the new arcade game coming?
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at a few more trailers of it, it kind of reminds me a lot of NBA Street Home Court, and that's pretty exciting to me.
And they did mention that it's obviously Jam and Street inspired. There's an article from Polygon has come out just today when we were recording this, or at least within the last 24 hours, and it has confirmed the release date of May 9th. So next week, not long at all to wait at all.
Fantastic. Yeah, bring it on. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
And in the Polygon article, which included both impressions and some more new information about the game, they did admit that it's a bit more Jam than Street, and in the gameplay I can kind of see that as far as some of the dunks are bit more Jam-like, but there's definitely some Street elements in there which I think will cater to both tastes.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that there is very much a Jam look to it, or at least kind of like an NBA Hang Time look to it, as far as its aesthetic is concerned. And Hang Time was from the same company as Jam, wasn't it?
Midway, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of see that there is a bit more of a Jam to it. I think for me, the Street part comes in where it looks like the baskets are more than 2 points, or there are like some, don't want to say multipliers. What's the right word?
No, multipliers is the word they're using, so I suppose that's what I'm running with too. Yeah, multipliers.
Okay, so yeah, they do. That's kind of something that looks like they've kind of taken influence from Street. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting combination. There's that word again.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a good combination of both the games, and I'm definitely eager to see how it works out.
It looks like a good combination. I think it is going to appeal to both. Just looking at some of the notes that I made from the Polygon article here, speaking of NBA Jam, there are over 300 dunks in the game, dunk animations, and you can definitely see that Jam influence on those, as I said. A bit more information about the lottery wheel, the lottery pick. And the lottery pick boosts, they include hotspots that multiply the point value of the shot, and even debuffs for the opponent, such as halving the length of the shot clock. So that's kind of interesting to get that. That reminds me a little bit of the Incredible Basketball and International Basketball that I talked about, I think, on last week's show from the European developer, I can't remember, that has the arcade one, which I think was Incredible Basketball now that I'm thinking back. Just some of the boosts there where you could make an ice block appear above the opponent's rim and things like that. So it's so it's kind of that kind of power up as well, not just powering yourself, but the debuff to the opponent. Here's something that's rather eye catching, interesting even. The shot clock is going to be 12 seconds rather than the usual 24, and of course, if you get the debuff that halves the length of the shot clock, that would take it down to 6. So that's a curious change that they made, and I guess if the pace is quick enough for the game, it makes sense.
It does, and with that in mind, the Rockets might be the best team for that game, actually.
Yeah. The old 3 seconds or quicker Suns back in the day.
Yeah, the retro Suns aren't in the game, are they?
Nash is. Might be his Lakers. Oh no, I think it's his Suns counterpart. Is Incarnation, if you like, is the one in the game. So.
Oh, Nash is going to be perfect for that game by the sounds of it.
So he'll run it home in 6 seconds or less shot clock if he gets hit by the debuff. No debuff
half
at all.
Court.
No debuff at all. Yeah. So at first I saw that and thought, that's a bit weird. But then I thought, well, the pace of an arcade game, I guess the old 24 seconds of Jam and Hang Time and everything back in the day, it was probably a bit too cheesy. You could just hold onto the ball and run around and avoid the shove if you could, and just hold. You could run some clock. Where this time actually you have to put it up in 12 seconds, and did anyone really take up the 24 seconds that often in in Jam? No. I didn't get many violations back in the day. It's mostly when I was trying to get fancy or something.
I mostly got like goaltending violations in that game, I think.
I think the only time I would have got shot clock violation is when I was trying to set up an alley-oop in Hang Time. Just getting the teammate in position to do that, and then it...
Oh, I forgot you could do alley-oops in Hang Time.
First one you could do the alley-oops, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And of course, there are alley-oops in this game as well. In the Polygon gameplay video did show them looking a bit tougher than some in previous arcade games. So it looks a little bit less cheesy, actually, which is... perhaps a refreshing change of pace for an arcade game.
Definitely. that would make it better as far as like playing online is concerned, because you actually need skill in order to pull off those alley-oop plays. So that's cool.
Absolutely. And speaking of online, with offline play, there's 4-player local multiplayer, similar to previous arcade games. So that's a nice throwback. If you've still got friends that come around and sit on the couch or in front of a computer, that was actually still possible. And at launch, there'll be 2-player head-to-head. And there's going to be an early update that will add 4-player online capabilities as well. So eventually, online will be 4 users, 2 versus 2 as well. So I mean, that's pretty crucial these days. On Fire Edition did that, by EA Sports, of course. So whether you're playing with friends, locally or online, it's eventually going to be this another great multiplayer experience.
Yeah, I just hope that the patches aren't too big.
Well, on Steam at least, they're fairly small. Well, I'm assuming this is going to be released through Steam. Most PC games, digital releases are these days.
Yeah.
Except EA games, which of course come through Origin. And is it Uplay? Is the Ubisoft's?
I'm not sure for Ubisoft, but definitely Origin for EA games, because I have to run it every single time I want to play The Sims 4, and yeah, that's the only reason I have an Origin account.
That said, if EA wants to release NBA Live on PC, I'll happily take an Origin release over no release. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. Get more people using Origin. So
it's been a while since I pimped the idea of the PC version on the podcast, so maybe at least 2 or 3 weeks. So hey, there you go.
We've got your back, modding community.
Absolutely. Players are unlocked with card packs. There won't be any microtransactions, at least initially. They do mention that there's a funny quote here. Let's see, scrolling through the article about microtransactions. It says there are no microtransactions in NBA Playgrounds, although the developer said if there's a demand for the ability to buy card packs, they can always add that feature later. So that's yeah. I don't think there's going to be too many people who demand microtransactions unless it's set up to really require them, but it doesn't sound like it is going to. It sounds like it's going to be unlocked fairly organically with the packs, and the packs they showed in the Polygon video were a good mix of sort of the top players and the other players. I mean, with the smaller roster, pretty much everyone's a prominent player, I guess.
Yeah.
But and if you get a double, that adds 100 XP to the player. So that's a neat feature.
That is a cool feature, and it's nice to hear that they are kind of reluctant to add that microtransaction feature. Although, I don't know whether that's PR spin or something, because you don't want to openly admit that you want to take people's money. But it is good to hear that they will add it if they see it as a necessary evil.
And especially since they're not established with basketball games at this point. I mean, 2K, while we have our criticisms of the game and certainly the microtransactions and the VC aspect in some respects, I mean, they are an established brand. Most people buy the game every year. So when they offer that money, most people seem to be a bit more willing, I guess, to pay an established brand than a brand new game like this.
Yeah, definitely. And they're pretty much the only game on the market at the moment, like save a few indie titles and whatnot. So, I mean, they definitely have the luxury of doing that. So yeah, it would be harder for a game like Playgrounds that is coming like into the market as a new player and kind of expect some more money off the bat. Yeah, that'd be kind of an unreasonable expectation at this point.
I looked up that game you were talking about last week. Is that Freestyle 2?
Yes.
Freestyle 2, and it's free to play. But there's a DLC for certain skins to like $55 US.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's where they get you.
Yeah, definitely.
That's not a microtransaction. That's a game.
Pretty much.
That's a maxi transaction. That one. But
it's kind of like I guess like Rocket League, and well, it's not that expensive. But I mean, Rocket League's not that expensive, but and I also thought DC Universe Online as well kind of had something similar where you could pay for more, but it's initially free. So
yeah,
I
remember checking
freemium, I guess.
Freemium, pretty much. So we talked about the roster reveal. I think it was last podcast or the week before. No, it was last week. The roster reveal. Yeah, each team has at least 3 active players in addition to retired players. More players will be added later. Specifically noted that Charles Barkley and Kobe Bryant are 2 players they don't have access to. So. Don't expect them. And I guess Michael Jordan is also exclusive to 2K, so don't expect him either. But maybe some other legends and certainly current players. And they also note that roster updates are going to be a part of the post-release support. So yeah, they're not just gonna. It doesn't look like they're just going to put the game out there and abandon it, which is obviously great news.
Yeah, it's always great when a company supports the game and gives you new features, along the cycle. So yeah, that's a really great feature for them.
And you brought up Rocket League, and they've done that too with a couple of different game modes, including the hoops mode, which is very tough. It's not often that I prefer a soccer game to a basketball game, but with Rocket League, the soccer game definitely works out a little bit better than trying to knock it up into the hoop. But it's still a fun challenge. But speaking of post-release content, also plans of possibly adding a dunk contest and three-point shootout post-release, and I'm guessing there'd be free updates similar to what Rocket League has done. So again, that's great to be adding that kind of content post-release.
Definitely, and I would like to see what they do with the dunk contest in particular, because recently the dunk contests for games have been kind of a little bit lackluster. And
Agreed.
When I say that, I mean pretty much primarily the 2K games, where it is essentially time the button presses and stuff like that. And I remember thinking NBA Live 06 had such a more intuitive system as far as the dunk contest was concerned. So
nodding my head in total agreement. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think any game has done the All-Star Weekend or the dunk contest in particular as well as those live games did from 2005 through 09. I was a real big fan of that approach. And I mean, you mentioned it, them being lackluster in 2K. And of course, in Live, since then, they've been lacking. So,
yeah.
To get any kind of dunk contest. Although, Street Volume 3, or Street V3, I should say, on PS2, did have a dunk contest. But it was kind of tough as well from what little bits that I've played of that. Really need to get back and do a Street retrospective for Way Back Wednesday. Give me an excuse to pull out all the Street games and play them again. Except the PSP ones, which I don't have. But yeah, so that's some really positive news all around. I guess the only thing that I'm really not sold on that much on Playgrounds is it's the purest of me that I'm not too thrilled about the extra point values, the multipliers on the perfect releases and everything. I guess because it's new and I'm too perhaps old school and I want my NBA Jam, damn it. But it's something I'll definitely give a chance because you don't know how it's going to play, and it's a brand new experience or based on older experiences. So yeah, I'm happy to give it a go.
I am as well. I do see it being exploited online, but yeah, definitely willing to give it a chance.
And we'll be able to do that May 9th. I'm guessing I'll be picking that up for PS4 so we can play some online, although I might double dip and get PC as well, because if we can mod it, then some of those missing players, perhaps not an issue anymore.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Sure we can get some people in the community to get onto that.
I know there's been interest, so we'll continue to cover that, and if we can mod it, I'm sure there'll be some downloads popping up sooner rather than later.